Welcome to tonight's CreepyPasta titled I Died for 6 Minutes and Went to Heaven.
Part 2
by author Crowder23. Go check out his other works on reddit.com/nosleep/Crowder23. And I hope you guys enjoy.
Hey guys, the show's about to start. Sit back, relax, take a hit, and enjoy.
Bitch, shut the fuck up. My bitch so stuck. I ain't honest, but I get the bucks, yeah.
All I want right in the chest, bit dog. Full of white walls, no flex involved.
Tell me that you lost without telling me you lost.
TokeTok Radio with Mountain Man and the Wizard.
Now let's get inside before another one comes down to check on us.
Daniel started walking towards the wall before I could muster any kind of response to his words. If the angels were guards, what the hell were they guarding? The alabaster white wall was just about in front of us. Daniel showed no signs of stopping as he continued walking towards what looked like solid marble pillars 6 feet across. How are we supposed to get past? My question was interrupted as the base of the unimaginably large pillar silently lifted itself up just enough for both of us to pass under it. Daniel didn't stop and walk through the newly created space like he had done it 1,000 times. That pillar has to weigh as much as a skyscraper. How did it lift up with no sound?
It's a bit pointless to ask how anything is done here. The only thing you'll get is speculation from the other people here, or, because it was willed, from the Wing Peanut Gallery. Now try not to look too amazed.
I don't know. My sentence was cut off for the second time in as many minutes as we stepped from under the raised pillar onto the shining silver city. I'm not prone to exaggeration, so I hope you take this with all the accurateness I can muster. It was an entire city made of silver. Tall, pointed spears that gleamed brighter than any Las Vegas light show, stretched out of sight and into infinite heavens that were somehow clear of any obstruction and impossible to see. There were a number of smaller buildings as well. Single-story square buildings that sat in the shadows of the impossibly tall spires, but still shone with the ever-present light that permeated every part of this place. 2- and 3-story perfectly round buildings were placed in the open spaces between the spires. These round buildings glowed with a blue hue that seemed to be the only color in this place besides Daniel's dark purple hair. Seeing a color outside the pure light made me think of something. Daniel, where is everyone? He pointed towards the base of one of the tall spires.
If you're unlucky enough to be stuck in the first heaven, then one of those shiny ones take you into a spire.
I took another look at the spire and saw a small opening at the bottom. I wouldn't have been able to see it if Daniel hadn't literally pointed at it. The opening was seamless, showing no signs of machining or molding for it at all. It was almost like the entire spire had been melted in a single mold and cast as one solid piece.
You're one of the lucky ones, though, and get good old me instead. Welcome to the Silver City.
He held out his hand in a mock greeting. Whatever else I had to say about Daniel, he seemed to be able to exude sarcasm without uttering a single word. You didn't answer my question.
That's because I'm avoiding it.
I stared at him. He could probably see my annoyance because he sighed and continued.
Despite how this place looks, it's pretty much empty. Anyone still around is either in second or third heaven.
Still around? Daniel looked up towards one of the spires in silence for a long moment before saying,
You'll see.
I was getting really tired of this cryptic shit, as I've been dead for what felt like an eternity, and we've barely gone 10 feet in the Silver City. There was no one else here and nothing to look at besides buildings that defied definition. I was getting ready to start yelling again, maybe try to get one of the angels' attention, before I noticed something came off one of the round 3-story buildings. A ball of blue light split off of the surface of the building, followed by a second, then a third.
They took their sweet time.
Daniel said as the blue light approached. Unlike the massive glowing monstrosity that greeted us at the wall, these things were about the size of paperweights. What are they? I asked as the 3 balls orbited around my head. The glow had dimmed down to soft fuzz that didn't hurt my eyes.
Cherubs.
I stared at the tiny blue orbs. They didn't have any defining features I could pick out. Cherubs? The tiny flying babies from all those Renaissance paintings?
Another thing everyone gets wrong about this place.
He pointed at one of the cherubs as it passed my vision around the side of my head.
Cherubs are the lowest of angels. They don't do much besides sit in those round buildings, hang around people, and cast judgment.
Those things are judging me? Right now?
Judgment with the capital J. Don't worry about it too much. It's mostly formality at this point. If there was anything you needed to worry about, it was with the seraphim that cast judgment upon you at the gate.
It clicked in my head. The flashes of random images when that thing bored into my soul. I was receiving judgment. Would they find me worthy? Would I go into the spires despite Daniel's reassurance? One of the little blue balls stopped directly in front of me. After a second, I felt like pissing my pants in fear. The little cherub bobbed up and down in the air. The other 2 stopped their orbit around my head and appeared next to the first one. The first one bobbed, followed by the other 2 copying the first, then flying out towards the building they'd come from. The one that stopped its orbit first took a position at the top right of my vision and remained there.
Well, that's a good sign.
Daniel said as he watched the other 2 reunite with the shining blue building they had come from. Daniel,
Yeah?
you said before that they were guards. What exactly are they guarding? Daniel turned his head to look at the wall behind us.
Not here. I'll tell you once we get past the second gate.
Without any indication, he started walking, heading in the direction towards some unseen destination between one of the spires and the glowing cherub den. After passing the glowing round building, I could finally see where our destination seemed to be. Just past one of the immense spires, there was another wall. Just like the one that surrounded the Silver City, it appeared to be made of sheer white marble. Unlike the hulking thing 1,000 feet behind us, it appeared to only be about 100 feet tall. When I was alive, I would never describe anything like that as small, but apparently death does some strange things to your perception. The unfortunate thing about this wall, however, was the presence of what Daniel had called seraphim sitting on top of the pillars. That was the only break in the sheer whiteness. Just like the one that had appeared to us at the gate, these ones shined with a white light that was blinding to look upon. Daniel's words earlier did not go unheeded, and I made sure to not look directly at the thing, lest my mind break and my soul be torn asunder, or whatever the hell had happened at the front gates. The cherub that had been at my side just a minute ago flew towards the nearest of the pillars to the bright, maddening light of the seraphim. When the white of the seraphim subsumed the blue of the cherub, Daniel turned his head with a worried look on his face.
Be careful what you say and do from now on. That little blue bastard is listening and watching everything you say and do.
But what shouldn't I?
Stop!
Daniel shouted then flinched as he looked up at the top of the wall before continuing.
You need to listen. Look, that thing is not your friend. Think of it as a listening device. If you say something wrong, do something wrong, it may fly its little blue ass to the nearest seraphim.
I looked up and caught sight of the blue light detaching itself from the much brighter white light.
And you do not want to catch their attention.
Daniel said in a quiet voice just before the blue light took its place at the side of my head. The seraphim, the cherub, had gone to grow in size, a bright light stretching forever into the horizon. Before I could speak, before I could even think of what was happening, a voice boomed from a pillar, a voice that would have shaken a mountain.
Judgment has been cast, and you have been deemed worthy to enter second heaven.
The infinite light said before it grew brighter and brighter. In another moment, everything went white. Hey y'all, hope you enjoyed tonight's reading. I died for 6 minutes and saw heaven.
Part 2.
Brought to you by TokeTok Radio. For other CreepyPasta stories, please go check out our Spotify and check us out on Anchor.fm and all other platforms. If you want 24/7 access to our podcast and radio station, head to the Google Play Store and search TokeTok Radio. Special thanks to Quick Wick and Family Ties for making this CreepyPasta possible.